Hello, everybody, and welcome to this LinkedIn Live today about tips and activities to power up your voice. My name is Laura Wilkes, and I help podcasters and creators create great content to grow their business, particularly in the field of education. I'm really excited today because we're going to go about talking about voice, the importance of voice, and we're going to be doing a demo activity. Now, I'm not doing this alone, thank goodness. I'm joined with Nicole Kupfer, who is a drama advisor, voice and text coach, who is going to walk us through all these tips and activities so you can try these for your next public speaking event, for your recordings, or simply just to have a bit more confidence and power in your voice. Nicole, it's lovely to have you here today. Thanks so much for joining this live.
Laura, thanks so much for having me here on this session. I'm very happy to have this conversation with you today.
Before we jump into talking about voice and stuff, Nicole, could you tell us a bit about what you do? Because I think some people may not really know what a drama advisor, voice and text coach does. It would be just interesting to gain some insight before we start.
Okay. Well, I have, several irons in the fire. On the one hand, I have my freelance business where I offer courses on a regular basis in Zurich and up in the mountains, where we make a combination of voice work, creative writing, and then actually performing and sharing the texts that we've created, and probably developing a short interactive scene out of the material that we produced. The other iron in the fire that I have is teaching teachers how to use drama in the classroom. I regularly teach training courses at the University of Zurich. I get invited by schools to have like an internal training day where I share my experience of having taught English language and literature for about 3 decades. And for about 20 years, I regularly included drama activities in my language and literature teaching.
That's brilliant. Lots of different irons in the stove, you said, or irons in the fire, as you described it. What was the analogy you used again?
Well, I just literally translated from German. Is it irons in the stove for English-speaking people?
I don't know. We don't use that, but I love it, and I'm going to use that.
You don't?
Absolutely love that analogy. So you know a lot about voice and the importance of voice. I think even for myself included, as a creator, I don't really pay enough attention to it. Why should we be paying attention to a voice? What are some of the benefits?
Well, maybe I'll share some of my personal experience, which goes back to the early 2000s when I had been teaching for several years. I was a young mother. I had several jobs. My schedule was tight and my voice was getting tight. And that's when I came across a course in speech and voice training at the University of Arts in Zurich. That focused exactly on that area of speaking, working on your voice, loosening your vocal cords, but also embodying your voice in your entire being. And I decided to attend that course for the Certificate of Higher Education, CAS, and was trained in the method developed by Christine Linklater, who was an actress and voice coach, originally from the Orkney Islands, who emigrated to the US and started working with actors and actresses, was a Shakespeare actress herself, and really developed everything into a whole method. And I had the joy of even joining her later on for a session on the Orkney Islands, when I really became aware of the importance of embedding your voice in the way that you work with your body, with your emotions, and that you can set free your natural voice, which is like the title of the book that she later published on her method, Freeing the Natural Voice.
it's really interesting how you mentioned the connection between body and voice. They're not two separate things. And that's obviously something we're going to explore today with warm-ups that we've got. For those of you that are joining us live today now with Nicole and I, please comment along. You'll see that I've dropped a comment in the chat there, because I'd love to hear if you've done something similar to Nicole, where you've gone to retreat to do some training, or if you've not done drama or warm-ups before. We'd love to hear from you what your experience is as we're talking today and we're watching the chat. I know, Nicole, you do a lot of things as part of your daily routine now that you've been doing for a significant amount of time to keep your voice active and to keep it strong. What does your daily or weekly workout look like?
Actually, yeah, as you say, it's a daily activity. It's something that has to be incorporated in your routine, just as athletes have to keep working on their bodies. That's the same with your voice. I start by, I have longer and shorter sequences. And if I go through a longer sequence, I go on my trampoline for 15 minutes. Some people might prefer to go for a walk outside or have a short jog, come back in and do some yoga moves like the sun salutation or some of the stretching activities. And that blends in smoothly with activities incorporating your voice. That's like the longer sequence of activities that I do. About every day before I go out to work, I do at least 2 or 3 sun salutations and something that is connected to voice work. And the third step that I take is right before a presentation, or even in the morning before I give a speech, or I have to give an important lecture, or just go out to teach. I have just a few very short activities that can easily be done. They could be done anywhere where you don't feel ashamed of having your voice be heard.
That's brilliant. And I'm just looking at the comments that we're seeing from, I think it's Stephanie Pampel. She was actually saying that she is a former vocal music teacher and current English pronunciation coach. And she talks about, there we go, got it on the screen there. She talks about warm-ups for speakers a lot, but she didn't do her warm-up today. And that's pretty good, actually, isn't it, Nicole? Because that means, Stephanie, you can join us today with the warm-ups. Yeah. That Nicole's going to do with us, and I'm going to join in. We don't have a trampoline, though, sadly. I kind of wish I had a trampoline.
That wouldn't be the most suitable thing to do before in front of the screen.
It would be a lot of fun. I love the fact that it's a mix of like relaxation and focusing and mindset routines that you described there, as well as energizing ones. I imagine the trampoline one's quite good for energy, getting the blood flow going. And then there's salutations, which I associate with yoga, and stretching is perhaps good for getting your mind in the right frame. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely. Along with your breath, to have your breath stabilized in a regular flow. Christine Linklater's image was, I'll go back to imagery, is that your whole body is like a musical instrument, and we have to imagine our body like the resonance body of our instrument, maybe a huge cello or a piano, a grand piano. That's the image I sometimes have for myself. And the voice is actually vibrations that you activate down in your belly, and they move up, and only here in the larynx where your vocal cords are, and they start vibrating and producing your voice. That's like only the very last step before the voice then comes out of, a relaxed cavity within your mouth and reaches out to your audience. And I like this image of vibrations very much, because vibrations are energy, and energy is what connects you to your audience. And if you succeed at creating a voice that is filled with this vibrating energy, you will reach out to your audience, and you'll have to do that no matter whether you speak with a microphone or over the screen. This kind of energy can still be felt. There are some people who think, I don't need to do anything with my voice because I'm speaking with a microphone anyway, but that's an illusion. You just need to have the same kind of presence in the way you speak, even if it's through a microphone.
That's a really good point you make there, Nicole, because I was thinking about that. We've actually got a few podcasters who are on this live here, Christina Jones included, who was just saying that she hadn't actually thought about vocal warm-ups. And I think just your point there with Christina being a fellow podcaster, what we're going to demonstrate today is equally just as valuable, whether you're stepping onto a physical stage, stepping into a studio environment, recording piece to camera, or recording a podcast, right? It matters in all
Absolutely.
those scenarios.
Yeah, whether you're visible or not. Yeah, it's always the same. Yeah.
When you were describing that, I was thinking about when I listen back to my footage when I'm recording my own content, I can tell if I don't have energy. I can tell if I'm a little bit tense. I don't think my listeners can tell so well, but I can tell. And it's usually when I've done a bit too much work during the day, I haven't taken breaks, and I haven't gone at it with like a good positive energy. And it just doesn't, it feels a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but like taut, like it feels really tight, like the content itself, it doesn't feel very authentic or flowing. And I can really sense that when I'm editing and listening back. So I think what you're describing today, I need to really apply it to my recordings going forward to really get in the mindset, get in the mood, and, really transcend that through to the content I'm recording.
Yeah, and you're making a very interesting point. It might be that only you realize the difference in your voice.
Yeah.
But the confidence that you gain by not having to worry about the way you sound, or by not being bothered with tenseness in your throat or your voice getting coarse, that has a great effect on the way that you can produce the content that you want to speak about. And I think every speaker, no matter how prepared he or she is, will come to a moment where she has to improvise. And that's where, it blends in with the drama activities that I propagate, that being relaxed and loosened and free creates, a whole platform of freedom to tap into everything that is stored in your mind, in your source of experiences that you can link to, and that will make you find a way forward if you get stuck.
Brilliant advice and tips before we go into the warm-ups. I wonder, shall we go into the warm-ups, Nicole? Do you feel ready? Shall we?
Absolutely, yes.
This is my favorite part.
Let's do so. Okay. Remember last time we started by playing darts. I thought that was a good activity, a pub game. We will pick up a dart and we will send it out with an F sound and until it hits the target, and pick up another dart and go. This actually activates your diaphragm, which is the dividing line between your lower belly and your chest. And that's very important, to keep the balance of your voice and your energies and the air and everything. All right.
With your breathing for that one. Sorry, Nicole.
Sorry?
With your breathing for that one, are you breathing in or you're breathing out for the fur? How do you? I don't think I got my breathing right for that one.
I breathe in as I pick up the dart.
Okay.
And then I breathe out as I send it out with the F. And as it hits the target, the T releases the diaphragm. So again, breathe in. Breathe in as you pick up the dart. Does that help?
It does, absolutely. And let us know in the comments if you're doing this with us, Christina and Stephanie. I hope you are. This is a lot of fun. And I love the visual element of playing darts. I'm not very good at darts, but I feel like I am in this activity.
No, you're not good. I'm not good either. So if I imagine I missed the entire target, I'll go no problem.
I'm going to try and do this without laughing. I don't think I'll be able to get through it.
No,
Let's try.
laughter is good too. Remember, I told you Christine propagated laughing, swearing, and crying for 10 minutes every day. That's the best training of your voice. So go or blend in the failure of hitting the target with the laughter that is essential for your voice.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
That's just so fun as well. Like it's fun to bring that laughter and joy into things. And you know what? Doing this before going onto stage, it makes going onto stage or recording a lot less intimidating. Because if some mistake happens, you just go in your head, or having done that earlier, you know.
And you're living one of the basic improv principles that mistakes are nothing to be ashamed of, but a source of joy. Like, yeah, I made a mistake. Yeah.
It's a learning opportunity. I love that attitude.
Absolutely.
That's super.
Yeah.
I love those
ones. And then,
ones.
Of course, tapping and activating your entire body will help a lot. Okay. Just tapping your arms, your torso. And then maybe more lightly with your fingers, tapping your chest.
This is very relaxing, actually.
Massaging your neck muscles. Exactly. Loosen up. Mm-hmm. Anything that you can do in order to free your natural voice, as Christine propagated. Now give yourself a slight massage of the skull. And I'll remove my glasses in order to give my facial muscles a nice massage and stretch out the tight area between the eyebrows. And also massage your ears that are full of energy points, and your ear lobes.
You know, I find I have a lot of tension in my jaw. Do you massage
That's what we're going to go on to right now. Exactly. Stretch out your tight jaw. Everybody has tight jaw muscles. They are the strongest muscle compared to their length in the entire body.
I didn't know that. No wonder why they get so tense. Yeah, I think when I'm stressed, I naturally clench my jaw. And so this is actually, I'm realizing how much tension I had in my neck, shoulders, and jaw here just through doing that activity now with you.
Wow. Yeah.
Let me put my glasses on so I can see you again.
You can grab your lower jaw between your index fingers and your thumbs and just let go. And it will look very silly, but you'll do it on your own. And we're only doing it into the camera right now. I'm going, ah. That can blend into a joyful sequence of laughter too. Yeah.
I love that you really thought about the body and those connection points and really loosening up. I hope people who are watching this, you're joining us in, let us know if you are. We'd love to see in the comments. And it's probably a bit difficult to type as you're doing it with us, but please comment along because we'd love to hear your feedback. What other ones have you got? So we went through the darts. We've gone through the kind of relaxation, like, I don't know how else to describe that one. The
fluttering your lips.
That's the one. Yeah. And then we did some tapping to kind of relax and activate. Well, yeah.
Let's do some stretches, some
side
stretches. Oh, and just let go of your voice. Going, and to the other side. And then open up like an eagle with his huge wings going, open. And that opens up the area in your chest. And then on the reverse side, between your shoulder blades, imagine hugging a huge tree, also going open, open. And then in order to relax, just roll down your spine. Ah. And when you're down as far as you can go, shake your knees a little bit so that your head can hang loosely, and then gradually and very smoothly come back up, roll your spine back up, and let your head hang down, and only at the very end lift it up as if it was attached to a very thin string, and let it float above your head. And then you can make a few steps through your room and just say something that you don't have to produce consciously, like numbers 2, 5, 17, 98, or the colors that you can see around you: yellow, white, black. And the idea is that way you produce voice without, as I said before, without consciousness. And that's also part of the process of freeing your natural voice.
That's fantastic. So not overthinking it, just saying what you see or what comes to mind to start activating your voice as you're doing those activities, or after you've done that activity?
Yeah, after, these kinds of loosening up sequences. And that can blend over into going into the opening of your speech, or just producing a few sentences of what you'll have to deliver in your presentation, or in your performance on stage. Just a few lines that you speak out, and thereby keep embodying what you're going to talk about.
You know what, just going through this process, I know we did this before in rehearsal, but I'm glad we've done it again, because I've just realized even just some small movements and doing those short demos, I've noticed how much tension I have. So I should probably do a bit more time before I go onto lives like this. But it does help loosen up, and it just helps to relax. So it's really simple activities and routines that anyone can build into, whatever their speaking activity is.
Yeah. It's great to see that it has such an immediate effect on you.
Yeah. No,
and even after years of training, I can still, share the same sensation.
I wonder if folk have been following along. Let's check the comments, because I think people have been doing these activities with us now, and they've got more to add. But Christina was saying she didn't realize how much tension she had until doing this. Actually, Christina, I think we share that same opinion of what I just said there as well, that having gone through the same process. If you have any other questions that you'd like us to answer before we wrap up today, we're going to reserve the remaining time to answer your questions. I've certainly got a question to ask you, Nicole, and that's about, it probably goes beyond voice and more into the cognitive space. But like the other day, I was telling you, I was giving a presentation and I stumbled and I couldn't think of the word. It disappeared. The word I wanted to say, it had gone, and I froze and I couldn't find a way out for a few seconds. And then I picked up and continued. But I was really irritated at myself about that. Do you have any techniques or suggestions on how I could handle that better and not be so hard on myself?
I think that's the best advice. Not be so hard on yourself. Accept that this happens, and also allow pauses to take place. They have a tremendous effect on the audience, and they might not even notice that you paused because you were struggling for that word, but it gave them time to catch up. And just stand, that's the advice that we were given in our training. Just stand there, breathe in and breathe out, and focus on get reconnected through your breath.
It can only just be a few seconds, and it feel like a world to us as the person on stage, but it's actually not that long for the audience.
That's the
like
thing.
You say, thinking time for them.
Yeah. And imagine if you're observing somebody giving a speech, or if you've ever had to coach somebody giving a speech, oftentimes you tell them to slow down. to pause, to give the people time to catch up.
Exactly. So powerful, isn't it, that pause? I have another question, but I encourage those of you who are joining us live now to drop your questions in now, because I think we have a chance to answer 2 more while we've got Nicole here as an expert in voice coaching with us. So please drop your questions before we finish up. I think the other question I was going to ask you, Nicole, is the reason why I don't do a lot of warm-ups is because I feel a little bit embarrassed doing them. So when I was at a conference the other week, there weren't really many spaces where I could do a warm-up. Do you just still, as a practitioner, do you still just go and do your warm-ups regardless of the spaces you're in?
Oftentimes, speakers get a room where they can deposit their luggage. So, depending on who's around or how, sometimes I feel anxious myself, producing my voice in front of people who listen, or I feel that I'm disturbing them. But rolling down your spine and doing the sighs, just the sigh, or just breathing out, that's like a sigh without sound. That is already part of the process of loosening, of connecting to your emotions. And then, rolling down the spine doesn't produce any sound, and coming back up, having the energy flow through your spinal cord has a tremendous effect, and you don't expose yourself too much. Not like, going ma. That's what you would probably rather do in the morning before leaving. And even if you do so, even if it's 2 or 3 hours before your presentation, you'll feel a difference whether you did that in the morning before leaving the house or not.
That's a brilliant tip. That's something I hadn't thought about, actually, just having that morning routine and taking that to me to the venue where I'm speaking or to the studio where I'm recording. This is brilliant. Thank you, Nicole. Let us know if you have any questions or comments before we wrap up today. As we close, of course, if you would like to work with Nicole, she does run some wonderful retreats that you can join and work on your voice and develop it. Nicole, could you tell us more about your upcoming retreats that you have planned?
Absolutely. This is 4-day retreats that I offer in the Lower Engadine in Ftan. That's a town near School. And we go out in nature, we explore nature, we get inspired to create our texts that we then share with each other after having trained our voices, and we involve in some improv activities. And I decided to start doing this in German and in English. And the next chance to do it in English as well is on the weekend of the 1st to the 4th of August. But if you go to my homepage, you'll find out everything. You can read up on it. You can get in touch with me and ask me questions. Or if you have a group of people who would like to do something at a specific date, I'll be very happy to set up something for you. But it doesn't have to be in the Engadine only. I'll come to your place, I'll come to your school, and we can set up something.
Lovely. And as always, you can find those links. We can drop those in the comments below, and you can obviously connect with Nicole on LinkedIn if you're watching the replay on LinkedIn. It's lovely to have this time with you today, Nicole. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's joining us live. I saw a lovely thank you message from Christina, who's watching us. Thanks for dropping that. I hope that whether you're watching us live or watching the replay, you try out these techniques to go on to your speaking event with confidence and comfort, and with a bit of fun, because I've certainly had some fun today. It's been great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Laura, and we'll see each other again.
Yeah, see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.